Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Celebrity Challenge, and today we have the Disney Channel movie You Wish! Exclamation point. This is from 2003. It's over 20 years old. It's an hour and 28 minutes long, and it stars AJ Trouth. Yeah, he's been in a bunch of stuff here and there, but this is one of his Disney Channel things. He was on something else on the Disney Channel. I can't remember. Even Stevens. He was on Even Stevens. And then there's Spencer Breslin, who plays his little brother. If you don't know who Spencer Breslin is, well, geez, he's been in a bunch of Disney stuff here and there. But he is also Abigail Breslin's older brother. So she had to be a little tiny thing at the time he was filming this. And both of them have gone on to bigger and better things over the years. And there's also Lelaine. I don't know why I recognize her. She's like the okay. I'll tap on it because I know I saw this. She was on Lizzie McGuire. She was her best friend. Something like that. Begins with an M. So yeah, these are the three main characters in this. Although to me, the most famous one out of all of them is Tim Reed from WKRP in Cincinnati. I should have worn my T-shirt for that. It's a missed opportunity. But so yeah, Tim Reed plays a guy who runs an old coin dealership, and he's an old vintage coin dealer in the mall, as one does maybe 21 years ago. I guess there's some malls that might be just like, you know what? Do you want to have a store, small business owner? There's plenty of space. You want to sell some ancient coins? Go for it. Yeah, that'll just be like $9,000 a month. And you'll be out of business in a week. So, that said, there's a coin at the center of all of this. And of course, a wish. That's why they call it You Wish. It's creative titling is what it is. But the main core point of this story, which I'm not going to spoil the final details of this, even though the film is 21 years old, there's a chance that some of you may not have seen this movie 21 years ago. I have not, because I was an adult, and these movies on the Disney Channel aren't made for adults. And honestly, the Disney Channel isn't made for adults. But hey, it's on Disney Plus, and it got randomly picked, so I'm watching it, and I have watched it. And I'll tell you, this is a story about two brothers, Alex and Stevie. Stevie is played by Spencer Breslin, younger brother. They're buddies at times, but also little Stevie, gets under his older brother's, gets on his nerves. He gets on his nerves so much. Alex says, "Don't do this." Stevie does it. Don't put on my rollerblades. Stevie does it. We get to pick a pet? Well, guess what? Stevie gets his choice, and Stevie chooses a turkey over a dog. Okay, sure. It's Alex has a lot of problems with this. As much as he loves his brother, he feels that everything is about Stevie. Stevie is always right. He's always protected, and that's not an unfamiliar relationship for anybody who has siblings. It always feels like the other one is, especially the younger one, gets a little bit more preferential treatment. And they're the angel who does nothing wrong, and the older one always gets in trouble. I don't know. Some of you might recognize that dynamic in your own family, and that's why Disney Channel movies are made. Very often they are born right out of the experiences of the children who are watching them, and they learn a little lesson. They grow from it, hopefully. And well, what happens when Alex gets his hands on a coin where he's told he's able to make a wish, and he wishes he never had a brother? Well, of course, he wakes up the next morning and he doesn't have a brother. I'm not spoiling too much here because that's the crux of the entire film. But, of course, through this, what do you expect to happen? Also, not a spoiler. He starts to realize that even though his life may appear to be better in numerous ways, he's no longer the football player who's always sitting on the bench. He's also not this guy pining for the hottest cheerleader in school. He's actually dating her. And he's not being bullied by the other football players. He's actually revered amongst all of them. He's the greatest football player in school. How does not having a little brother affect all that? I don't know. There's a lot of stuff. How do they have the money to paint the entire interior of their house blue, and mom and dad seem to go to work every day with suits on and don't live a suburban home life in Auckland, New Zealand? yeah, this is supposed to be an American household, but first of all, when you see the really tall building, the spire from Auckland, New Zealand, in the background of exterior shots, yeah, it's New Zealand. So you also, the dad is clearly New Zealand. He's a Kiwi. There's a few other actors in this are clearly Kiwi that are not exactly nailing the American accent 100% of the way. So nothing against them. It's, pulling off that American accent without doing the Southern twang is difficult. You try to do that middle America accent, it's a little difficult. So yeah, it's gonna happen. So what happens in all this? Well, you get to see an alternate reality where Stevie isn't the little brother. But one of the neat things I found out about this, and yeah, I guess I'm going to spoil a little bit of this, is the fact that normally you'd have this kind of story where Stevie never existed, and that actor is no longer in the story as Alex's life would play out. By the way, Lelaine plays Abby, his best friend, a female best friend. She obviously has a crush on him, and honestly, they're the best friends. They have all these things in common. He doesn't have anything in common with the girl he has a crush on. It's the usual kind of, you don't notice the person who is best for you right next to you. It's, yeah. And I honestly, I don't see how he couldn't go for Abby over cheerleader. That's just my taste. The little bit of, nerdier. She's not nerdy, but she's pretty. She's cute. She's not the cheerleader who's a jerk. They just tend to go for the nicer, smarter ones. Just me. Anyway, she's in this reality. Of course, he doesn't have the same best friends anymore. He doesn't have Abby in his life. He doesn't understand that, and Abby corrects him of that misunderstanding. But back to the fact that normally the situation where it would be where you just take Spencer Breslin out of the film and he's no longer part of the story because guess what? He never existed. Well, as part of the wish that I guess that Alex made, I guess one of the big wishes in Stevie's life sort of comes true. And it's to be on television. He wants to be a star. It's hinted at earlier in the film. It's sort of just a throwaway line that we don't really pay attention to until suddenly he shows up on the television screen in the home. And I only mention this because as soon as Alex comes down and greets his parents and starts asking, "Where's Stevie?" This is an opportunity for this TV show, this interview with this celebrity named Terrence. He happens to be in a show called Where's Stevie? And so when Alex starts asking, "Where's Stevie?" the parents assume they're talking about the show that the kid is on, and it turns into a whole who's on first kind of comedy bit that doesn't necessarily land the same way as, Abbott and Costello. Is it Laurel and Hardy? Well, it's Laurel and Hardy. Is it, right? It's Laurel and Hardy. Oh my God. Okay, I'm not that old, but so you can't blame me, but I know who's on first, what's on second. I don't know who's on third. Well, they kind of do that with What's Stevie, and it leads to chaos. A comedic bit. So, what's good about this film is that while it may not be a completely original, rough concept, it actually is executed pretty well, except for the really weird pining moments where he just sort of almost misty scene, just sort of wistfully looks at a young boy from a distance, or sneaks into his studio set where he's filming a movie wherever this is in America. Not New Zealand, but the public transportation gives it away, by the way. Just streets give it away. Just the general structure of a town, a city, gives it away. It's not America. But that's okay. It was neat to see Auckland. I want to go to Auckland now. Some interesting buildings and streets. So they just had to transfer a lot of American actors over to New Zealand, and that must have been a nice gig, I guess. Well, it must have got discounts, tax credits. Anyway, I've told you way too much about the story, but it's the kind of thing you could have seen coming a mile away. What plays well eventually is the fact that when in this alternate reality, Alex and Abby and Terrence, who is Stevie, all come together into this sort of team to solve this alternate reality mistake. And even though Abby kind of believes what's going on, Stevie's just along for the ride because he's always been cooped up in a studio. He's kind of a spoiled brat, and he doesn't really know his family. He wants a family. He wants a normal life. And so it kind of works out. So I've spoiled pretty much everything in the film. But again, it's the execution of it. It's not a great film by any means. It's not going to change your life, or, it's surprisingly good. So it's it's surprisingly good for a Disney Channel film made in 2003. You have to realize in the early 2000s, Disney was just making sequels to their animated classics like Pocahontas 3 or Bambi 4, whatever. I don't know it wasn't those, but it was they Hunchback and making sequels direct to video, putting on VHS at that point. Yeah, that was just 21 years ago. Oh, and the soundtrack, the soundtrack to early 2000 films. Well, the music from the early 2000s is never more apparent than in a Disney Channel movie. There is a song in this that was a very popular song. It feels like I'm watching the WB suddenly when I hear it. I can't remember. It's 1,000 Miles, it's called. Yeah, 1,000 Miles by Vanessa Carlton. You'll recognize that song when there's a montage. There's a montage scene of Alex looking wistful, missing his brother. And he misses his brother, but he just seems just a little too plaintive. I don't know. That's maybe not the right word, but yeah. He's weirdly obsessed about it. He's cutting pictures of the boy out of his mother's women's magazine. Apparently has articles on 10-year-old celebrities. I don't know. He's a big deal, I guess, in that reality. And then he puts his face on an action figure. He wants his old life back. He wants his brother back. When he has everything he thinks he ever wanted. And there's that balance. What does he want more? And of course he wants his brother back. Of course he wants that life back, even as miserable as he seemed to be at that time. It's a lesson to be learned. You could have a life without that annoying sibling, but would it really be better? Some of you are saying yes, but no, I don't think it would be. So yeah, if you want to have a nice throwback to 21 years ago and hear so much of like non-pop music. That's all just like pop punk kind of. I can't even do it, but the songs are songs I don't recall ever being popular, but they sound like the songs that were popular at the time. So, except that Vanessa Carlton song was popular. At least it seems like it was something on the WB on some show every week. I could be wrong. Yeah. Let's pick tomorrow's episode. 211. 211. Okay. Please don't tell me that we already... Okay. It didn't pick something we already saw. I was having a problem with that the other day. It's another spin-off of a docu-series that we have seen before, different other installments. I don't know if this is a series or just like a single episode, because there's a lot of these. Yeah. 211 is Primal Survivor Over the Andes. Oh yeah. Heading to the mountains. I forget the guy's name, but we'll figure that out later. I'll say it again. Primal Survivor Over the Andes is what we're watching next on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.